We are in week 4 of our online marketing for public companies, especially for mining companies, which is what this is tailored to. My name is Scott Briard. Always a pleasure to be here and chat about the one thing we love the most here at Stock Marketing is online marketing and gaining access to investors for our clients. So another great way for us to start this off, if you have an opportunity in the right-hand side in the chat box, um, over the weeks, I guess we've had everybody mention where they're from and the city and country. But if you're with us today from a public company, make sure to post your name and let us know what company you work for and maybe the stock symbol. Let's give you a little chance to get some exposure there for your company. Anyways, we make our way through today, and I guess we're back to some key information as the stats always have for us. Let's make sure we are showing these screens properly. But I'm waiting for material to upload, and you know what it looks like? We have it. So let's share it this way. My apologies. Took a few minutes for the PDF to upload today. So here we are, back to the content that's had us sort of shape everything for our online marketing webinars. And the stats, the key stat here, 1 hour and 46 minutes adult Canadians are spending on social media each day. And it really leads into what we're going to talk about today, which is the 3 major social media platforms past LinkedIn. And we spent the last 2 weeks on LinkedIn. But we sort of want to look at these stats and really dive into why it's important that as a mining company and a public mining company to spend the time to invest into accounts on these platforms and to post content and engage. So it's sort of what we're going to run through in Twitter. I mean, the numbers are there: 187 million daily users. 70% of them are male. 21% of adults in the US have a Twitter account. 42% of adults in Canada have a Twitter account. I mean, if this doesn't speak to potential investors, this data, 42% of Twitter users have a college or university education. Users between 25 and 49 years of age are 60% of those on Twitter. These are all potential investors, demographics and stats on that, which is why sort of Twitter's our sort of social media platform of choice when we're comparing it to Facebook and Instagram. So let's dive right into Twitter for today. So just as you can complete a personal profile on LinkedIn and on Twitter, you can also complete a business profile. So what you need to do, it's the same thing, building a business. But our focus here is obviously building a business profile. So what you need to do for Twitter is log out of your personal and log yourself back in, building a new profile. And you need to start from scratch, like you're building a brand new user. User will be your company name, and make sure to include your stock symbols in this name so future followers know that you're a public company and there's a chance for an investment. And just like other platforms, especially what we did with the LinkedIn company page, make sure to use your logos, your personal profile, and use your cover photo that's consistent with the other platforms. You'll have to resize them, and sizing is really important for posting images to any of the platforms. But this way your branding's consistent across all of them. Twitter handles are important. Unlike LinkedIn, there is a Twitter handle, and you'll have one as well for Facebook and Instagram as we make our through this webinar. You'll want to keep your handle as close as you can to your company name. And as you can see here, Chesapeake Gold has @ for the handle symbol, Chesapeake_Gold. So try variations of your company name until Twitter allows you and gives you a green check mark saying this one is available. Location, add your office, not your address, but really the city of where your head office is located, and get your website address on there. It's important for these 2 items to be inside your Twitter profile. And finally, a bio. You'll want to use pretty much exactly what was placed on your LinkedIn profile for consistency. A real cool addition to Twitter, something that we found 5 years ago, I guess, when we got involved in public companies and began posting for these great mining companies that we have as clients. And this is cash tags. And you'll notice there with the money, the dollar, symbol, creates a cash tag. And so many companies are unaware of this. It's crazy. So as Chesapeake, as you can see, they're cash tags, and they have two, one for the Canadian market and one for the American market. So their cash tag, it's called, for the Canadian market is the dollar symbol, CKG.V. So there are three symbols on the venture, CKG, and the .V is there noting that they're on the TSX venture. 5 letters on their US market cash tag, the dollar symbol, and then the 5 letters representing their OTC listing. So these cash tags are really important. We're going to go over them a little bit further in posting, but make sure you get these into your bio as well. Moves us into really what to post and how to engage on Twitter. Twitter only allows a maximum of 280 characters in every post, so you really need to get creative here with your messaging. In each post, don't forget things such as hashtags for your sector, mining, hashtag stocks, the number sign and the word. Make sure you use your cash tags and list those stock exchanges that you're listed on. But the way to really get your message across and posting to Twitter is going to be with a graphic or a video. And although you're restricted on the numbers of characters you can use in a post, your graphic and inside that image can have all sorts of great content, from photos from your mining site, cover of your investor presentation. It's a great opportunity to really tell a story with a photo or video here. Make sure also that it includes your logo in each graphic and an image that you share. And if you're wondering what to post, well, for starters, consistency is key. If you're going to post once a week, make sure you stick to it. If you're going to post more, obviously that'll allow the opportunity for more attention. But just make sure you stick to a schedule, because your following is going to get confused if you're 5 days one week and you post once the next week. They're always going to be there looking for your company updates and expecting information. So posts can include anything from news releases, updated investor presentations, changes to your executive, your management, your board, photos from your property, anything that gives you a chance to tell the story of a mining company. And again, we're trying to convert investors into shareholders. And very important, no matter what you post, make sure it's compliant. Never post anything you wouldn't put in a news release or on your website or in your investor presentation. You're not flying a banner screaming, buy our stocks now, IROC, the OSC. No one's going to be, allowing that to occur. So be really smart with what you're posting. But anything you would add to a news release, an investor presentation, or on your website, that's really content that you can use to, continually tell your story. And again, graphics are so important. And a great thing you can do with Twitter that you can't do with something like Instagram, add the link for your website into each and every post. It's the best place to send a Twitter user. Allow people to learn about your company. And the most important thing to do is always drive traffic to your website. It's your number one marketing asset. And finally, review past posts. And in this case, anyone who's commented or liked a post to you, go back in, make sure to, maybe follow them if they're, within your industry and they've, left a comment, or if they've liked a post you made. And if there's any questions that are there afterwards along your posts, make sure to review them. If they're appropriate, answer them. Just like if an investor called your phone and said, hey, we've got, a bit of a question about this property or what you're doing with the company, answer them right there online. It shows that you're engaging. It shows the company's involved in Twitter, and allows you really to build a rapport with potential investors. So through Twitter, incredibly important. To me, it's the second most important platform to LinkedIn for capturing the attention of shareholders and turning them into investors. So keep an eye on Twitter, complete your profile. Be sure to share it with us through email or next week when you're online again with us. But Twitter is incredibly important. And I think you're going to find a lot of day traders. If you go back, there's something fun to do when you are logged in and you're there on Twitter. Do a search. Search bar is always at the top of Twitter when you're logged in. Hashtag, number symbol, a word like stocks, and you will be blown away with how many people in the last minute, the last 10 minutes, and the last hour have posted using that hashtag. And you're going to be blown away with how many shares they've made about other companies in your sector, how much information they're sharing about company updates that have been there, reposting of news releases. Twitter's a great place to share information, and also to realize that our investors are on there and they're engaged all day long. Second platform we really want to touch on today is Facebook, the world's largest social media platform, and such an important place for public mining companies to post content. If you can believe it, 2.74 billion people log in each month into Facebook. And look at these demographics. 74% of Americans, 35 to 54, use Facebook. 52% of US citizens over the age of 55. 83% of all Canadians. Wow, I don't know what else we're doing up here in the north, but 83% of all Canadians have a Facebook profile. So this sounds to me definitely like potential mining investors are going to be found here. Facebook profiles A little more elaborate than building one on Twitter. Facebook's actually going to require you to build a company page. So it's not like Twitter where you're building another personal profile, but perceiving it to be a company. Facebook, you actually have to go in and select company page. And there they're going to get into much more detail. Your address, your phone number, a short bio, a long bio, office hours. Similar to other platforms, though, you need to add a logo. It's a profile photo. Make sure to resize your cover photo. Keep it consistent with what you already have now on LinkedIn and on Twitter. But resize your company photo so it fits perfectly. Try and keep your Facebook handle similar to your Twitter handle. People will make their way into each platform searching for you. And definitely things you're looking for is the handles are almost identical. Some will be available for your company on some platforms, and others you just need to maybe add an underscore symbol in between two words potentially in your company name. With Facebook, what's great, you can add lots of photos, lots of videos from your Mind site to the gallery. Always keep investors with content to go and find as they make their way through your company page. You can spend hours, populating this company page with content. Be sure to do it. You never know when a potential investor is going to land on it, and you want them to learn all they can about your company here. Posts and engagements, almost identical to Twitter. Use similar content, news releases, investor presentations, changes to your company, updates in your company. Hashtags, unlike Twitter, are not applicable here whatsoever. People still use them when they copy content that they placed on Twitter to Facebook. Don't do that. Make sure you're posting for each platform individually. So hashtags are absolutely useless on Facebook. If you have company videos, attempt to post them into Facebook. Facebook loves video. There will be size and length restrictions. You'll know when you attempt to make the post, but any company videos you have, see if you can get them into Facebook. Make sure you add a little bit of a description into the bio or into the posting area. Hashtags are important here. Links back to your websites are important here. But see if you can get some video into your posting as well and keep people engaged. And always keep an eye on past posts for comments. Make sure that reply to anything that's applicable, and allow yourself to engage with potential investors. One thing to note, building a following on Facebook takes time. Mining companies, you need to know you're not the Kardashians of the world. You're not Pepsi. You're not Ferrari. You're not going to grow millions of followers unless you've got billions in market cap. You're really not a household name. There's a great chance to build some organic growth. But don't get too stuck on the numbers. I mean, if we look here, we're talking about C3 Metals. They're into the hundreds of followers. It's really difficult for mining companies to get into the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or even millions. So don't get too hung up on the numbers. If you have 100 followers, they're all engaged. They're all potential investors. Some of them are shareholders. It means a lot more than a million people that truly don't care and just click like for the reason or sake of clicking like. You have true investors and they're only 100. That's really all that's important. So don't get too hung up on the numbers. And remember, you're not Ferrari. You're not automatically going to have 1 million plus followers once you go and build this company page. Instagram, third platform we're going to touch on today in our last, was bought by Facebook of all things back in 2012. Instagram's all about visual. And really, in order to attract attention from potential investors here, your images really need to be great, and you got to get your creative juices going. 1 billion people a day around the world log into Instagram. What a great opportunity to capture their attention. They're averaging 30 minutes a day. It's showing here on Instagram. It's insane. I mean, they're all mobile users. But there's lots of time in 30 minutes a day per 1 billion people to potentially find your posts and your company profile. So with regards to Instagram profiles, you need to log out of your personal. You need to begin a brand new profile. Keep an eye out for an area to select, the business professional account as opposed to a personal account. And you'll be able to select actually a category, just like you'll be able to in Facebook, for mining company. And it allows them, like as you see there, just under Winston Gold Corp, it's noted as a mining company. You want to make sure potential investors know exactly where your profile is and who you are. Here you're going to want to add other, key things that you may have added to Twitter, your bio, your stock symbols, the link back to your website, which is really key. It's the only place in Instagram you're going to be able to link back to your website. The posts themselves, there's no way to get a link into them. You can always add them to your images, but always make sure your bio there on Instagram is going to have your website address. So Instagram itself, in regards to your profile, get all your key information in there, make sure your stock symbols are there. But posting here is very much like Twitter and Facebook. You need to put a graphic or a photo or video into each post. Videos are going to be very small that they'll allow. Instagram's all about visual. So make sure your graphics are exciting. Make sure they're worthy of a viewer stopping through the news feed to learn more about your company. Industry hashtags are always important in your posts, and you can see here from Winston Gold, hashtags such as gold exploration, mining stocks, gold stocks, CSE, OTC markets, their OTCQB. They use these hashtags, the number sign and the word, on Instagram in case potential users are ever searching by hashtag. And as we know from discussing Twitter and the hashtag stocks, it's always a potential that users on Instagram are going to be searching by hashtag. So include these in each post that you have. Like other platforms, make sure it's consistent. Make sure you're engaging. Go back through your past posts. Have a look for anybody that liked them. Go and see their profile. They seem like they're industry influencers or they're potential investors. Follow them as well. Your newsfeed could be full of, their good content, especially if they're industry influencers. Make sure to go back, make sure to follow them. Always review in case there's any questions, answer them, professionally. You can delete anything defamatory or not applicable, but make sure to always answer any questions, just like you would pick up the phone at the office and answer any questions there about your company. It's really a way of letting them know you care, that they've taken the time to engage with you. And when you're going through any of these platforms, be sure to go find things like PDAC, in the mining industry, or the TSX or the CSE. Go follow those profiles as well. Have a look at what people are talking about and make sure to like and comment on any of those posts if it's applicable. It'll always get you more exposure that way. Remember, the more time you spend posting and engaging, the more chance you'll have for any attention to be driven from potential investors to your company. So as a public mining company, in my opinion, in 5 years of working with public mining companies, these three platforms are incredibly important. LinkedIn is the key, which is why we spent 2 weeks on it. But if you have the time, or somebody in the office that has the time, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram are incredibly important, especially with the amount of people here on these platforms to have a chance to engage with them. So we made it our way through 4 weeks. We talked about websites, the key asset to your marketing. Chatted about LinkedIn company pages, executive branding. I'm grateful for everybody that's reached out and said, hey, we went and built our LinkedIn company page and here's the links. So if you do follow through with any of the things that we chat about in these 15 minutes each week, make sure to send me an email with the link. Love to go back and see what you've done. And I get lots of questions afterwards as well with people, little things, the issues they have or little things they ran into. We're always here to answer any questions possible. Next week, we're going to chat about YouTube. Videos are incredibly important to tell the story of your mining company. Podcast channels, tips and tricks on how to use some audio to capture people. Everybody driving their car, running on a treadmill, walking their dog. Everybody has headphones in. So let's make sure you're getting audio from your content, your company, as content out to these potential investors. And finally, last week, finishing up on December 14th, we're going to talk about how important email distribution and web notifications are. So thank you. As always, we appreciate your time for sticking with us in these Tuesday mornings to chat about marketing for mining companies. Hopefully you've gone through and completed any of these profiles. Any assistance with Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, you can always reach out to me. You can catch me at stockmarketing.ca/Scott. My email address is on there. There's links to connect with me on a calendar invite. And past videos from these webinars are there as well. So thank you, anyone. Any questions on the right-hand side, certainly hit the chat area. Kevin, I'm grateful. I know you're here each week. Thanks for joining us all the way from the UK. Always a pleasure to have you here. And anyone else at any time, certainly reach out. You can catch me, Scott, at stockmarketing.ca for my email address. We appreciate all of you. We hope you go back and watch any videos you may not have seen. We will always take thoughts on what we can do for future content. We hope we're capturing the most important things for marketing mining companies here. Thank you, everyone. Matt, Brad, thank you as well. We appreciate everyone's time, and we'll see you next Tuesday.